She is a world-renowned choreographer, music artist, cannabis advocate, and LGBTQ plus icon based in Los Angeles, who launched to stardom after being selected to compete on Logo TV's season 6 of RuPaul's Drag Race. Her TV and film credits include So You Think You Can Dance, Germany's Next Top Model, Banga Batit, America's Got Talent, MTV Video Music Awards, and the American Music Awards, among many others. Laganja regularly performs at festivals and events across the world, including 14 countries spanning 5 continents, and has walked the runways in the Brazil Fashion Show and in Rio de Janeiro, and also in New York City. So without further ado, please welcome Laganja Estranja.
Hello! Happy Pride, everyone!
Happy Pride!
Hello!
I love seeing all the rainbows!
Yes!
Look at this!
All the rainbows. You look gorgeous.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm giving you galactic gay realness.
I love it.
Right here is a joint. Look at that, honey. It wouldn't be tokeativity without a toke. Can I get a
Let's have a celebratory toke, shall we?
I think we shall, honey. Put your lighters up.
Okay,
right.
Here we go now.
Cheers, queers.
Here's the queers. Oh my goddess. Well, we are so excited that you're here with us. We're so glad all the tech stuff worked, and we're happy to have you. So let's dig into this live Q&A. First of all, I just want to tell you, I was watching Chop 420, and our founding LA leader, Wendy Zhang, was the winner of that particular show. It was the first one.
Yes, I love Wendy. I've gotten to meet her now since the show. And she's just so wonderful. In fact, they're doing an event today. All the chefs from Chopped 420 are getting together and, creating a community, quite honestly, which is really cool.
That's amazing. Are you going to that?
I'm not. She's booked at another event, Gorge, but I'll be there in spirit, of course.
Beautiful. She's an amazing chef, and we love her so much. And why don't we just dig into this live Q&A? So our first question is, what kind of relationship do you have with cannabis?
Well, I'm in a very monogamous relationship with cannabis. Yeah, I commit to her every night as she does to me. And we are all about loving one another. And, without cannabis, I really don't think I would be where I am today, truly.
Beautiful. I love having a relationship with cannabis. I'm so glad that you have a monogamous one.
Yes. For me, it's my everything. It keeps me calm. It keeps me motivated. It helps me with my sleeping and eating cycles. It really is my medicine, and it's exactly what I need to get through my very busy, packed day. And that's why I don't cheat on her, because she's all I need.
She is all we need. She's all we weed.
Exactly.
So what is your favorite consumption method? I see you're smoking a joint there.
Well, I am a dab diva, I really prefer to get my medicine quickly and on one hit, one intake, because I am such a busy girl. I don't have time to just be sitting around and so I like to get my medicine quickly, efficiently, and effectively.
Love that. I'm an edibles.
Oh, I love this. Back to you.
Kia, what's your favorite way to consume?
Man, I really love bong rips. That's just really my favorite thing to do. It's quick as well, and it's just something about exhaling the smoke. It's ritualistic.
Yes. Put your favorite way to consume in the chat box. We'd love to learn what you love and how you love what your relationship is with cannabis. So our next question is, how did you get started in the drag space?
Well, really as a very young child, I began exploring my femininity, mostly behind closed doors. But it wasn't really until I went to college that I felt safe enough and in a safe enough space to really explore that. So I think I started drag like most people do, which is at Halloween, right? It's the one acceptable time where men dress as women and don't get looked at funny. In fact, they're usually encouraged and, championed for doing drag for Halloween. So it started there. I dressed as Elvira, and, you know, I just was addicted right away. I knew that that was something that really was true to who I was. And so I began exploring it more in college. We had a Thursday night party every Thursday. It was like a gallery opening. I went to the California Institute of the Arts, which, shout out to them. They're an incredible college. And again, if it wasn't for that college, I probably wouldn't have felt safe enough to explore who I really am now. And so it kind of just grew from there. You know, when I graduated school, I'd been doing drag just for fun as a hobby, but I entered an amateur contest where if I won, the prize package was to become a regular showgirl in that show, which is exactly what happened. So I always say drag chose me because I really didn't intend on this being my career at all. I always envisioned myself on Broadway and being in musical theater, but I also believe in going with the wind and going with just the vibe of the universe. And the universe clearly wanted me to be what I am today. So I feel really grateful that I was brave enough to choose this as my path.
It does take bravery to be more of who you are and to let who you are open up the doors to other opportunities. So, you know, how has really being yourself helped you in your career?
Well, you know, it's funny that you asked that. I think drag for me, it really is who I am. So that's actually been something that I've been exploring a lot in quarantine. You know, I've identified as non-binary for the last 3 or 4 years of my life. And, you know, I'm really beginning to own the fact that I now identify as trans. And so for me, drag has directly correlated into finding who I really am. It's allowed me to realize that gender is a construct and we should tear it apart, A. B, that wigs, makeup, none of that really makes you a woman. Yes, it may make you look like one, but being a woman is so much more. And so I think that's where I'm at now in my path is finding out what it really means to be a woman and what it really means to be a trans woman. And as much as I love the glam and I'm grateful for it, I've just realized it's kind of smoke and mirrors. You know, Hollywood is a lot of smoke and mirrors. And I think that's why I'm so grateful I have my hand in the cannabis industry as well. Because while there's still a lot of smoke and mirrors, truly, there's also, I think, you know, a room for me to grow. And there's room for me, especially as a trans person, to really take up space. You know, I think it's time we see some different faces, which is why I'm so excited to be a part of this woman-led event. You know, this is what we need. This is what we got to do. We got to shake up the white man in power.
Hell yes. Oh my
God. So how did the crossover and intersectionality of like drag life crossover with cannabis?
Well, you know, when I was becoming Laganja Estranja, I had no idea of the lineage of the queer people and cannabis at all. I knew that the plant spoke to me. I knew that it changed my life, and that, thank you, Dabbers agreed, and that I was able to, you know, get off all the, not psychoactive, get off all the, what's the word I'm looking for? Like medicine. I'm looking for the proper term for that, but I was on pharmaceuticals. That's
there
it.
We go. Yeah.
I was able to get rid of the pharmaceuticals and, you know, find me. And when I did that, I just chose this because I knew that this wasn't the devil's lettuce. This is not what I'd been taught. And so as a queen, I wanted a platform that was bigger than myself. And I felt like it would be a great way to educate people. Now, what happened in the end is I educated myself and learned that if it wasn't for the LGBTQAI plus community, specifically our brothers and sisters who are trans and of color, we would have never had gay rights to begin with, and Proposition 215, which is also known as the Compassionate Act, which allowed us to legally medicate here in California before we went recreational. So when I discovered all this information, I just was like, wow, no wonder I had this like spiritual calling. It's definitely, you know, in my lineage of my soul. And so I feel like I'm just trying to continue their fight and continue to educate people who seem to have forgotten queer's backs is how you got here, mama. So slow your roll, smoke a roll with me, and like, let's do this together, you know?
Yes, thank you for that reminder, very important reminder, and for that insight into how these two worlds have crossed for you and continue to help support your life and your thriving. Like you, I actually, you're the first drag queen I have ever met who's like really crossed over into the cannabis space. Maybe there's more of them, I don't know. You're probably better know more than I do, but are there others like you?
Yes, of course, there are tons of others like me. I mean, no one's as unique as me,
right,
but there's
exactly.
definitely lots of people like me and, you know, more queer voices that are you know, being, you know, becoming more popular every day. And I try to be a part of that, right? I try to use my platform to build the voices that are often not heard. And, you know, I realize that I'm very privileged in my life, and definitely now identifying as trans and seeing a lot of my privileges being stripped, you know, I'm even more aware of that. So I don't want to like take it on a down note, but I also want to say, like, I just think it really is about coming together. And I think for me, that's what I'm trying to do. You know, I'm an artist first and foremost. When I realized that cannabis activism would be a part of my journey, I've done the best to educate myself because I do love it and I do so much want to be a part of it. But at the end of the day, I'm an artist and I have to know my place and I have to know what it is that I can bring to the table. And I think what I can bring to the table is consciousness, waking people up and getting them to think differently. And then that's why I try to pass them over to you lovely women who can really, you know, take this to the next level. So yeah, thank you again for having me and for putting on this event. You know, so many brands that I love that have supported me over the years, and it just feels really great to feel like I have a family in both the cannabis industry and the drag world.
You do. I'm getting goosebumps right now.
I know, same. You totally have a family. Come back anytime you want. Bring your friends.
Yes.
Lastly, let's like leave off with this. What advice would you give to someone in the queer community who is looking to break into the cannabis industry?
Well, my first advice to anyone, regardless of what the question is be yourself. I think it's the hardest thing to do as someone who is still, you know, expressing my gender differently than I was 3 days ago. It's like, I think working on yourself is the best thing you can do. And when you're working on yourself, it's not only about educating, you know, from the past so that you don't make the same mistakes, but it's also like educating yourself on how to really love yourself. I feel like if you don't love yourself, it's hard to go anywhere. And I know that's what RuPaul always says, and it seems cheesy, but I really do believe the root of everything is loving yourself. Now, if you want to get into the cannabis industries, there's several ways. I mean, the way I did it was through basically influencing, using my art form, building a platform, and then, you know, sharing what I have with others. But I've seen so many different people do it. You know, I have a dear friend, Kristen Lovell, who managed me for years and years and years. And now she's managing cannabis companies. I think Biko is in the house tonight, so shout out to Biko. And it's just amazing to see how Kristen has had her own unique journey into this industry. So I don't think there's a right way. I don't think there's a wrong way. Get business cards, go to events now that things are opening, say hello to people, be open to new ideas, be willing to do things that maybe it isn't what you want to do in the beginning, but you're going to be able to, you know, work the ladder, if you will, except it's not really working the ladder, right? It's more about growing together. I mean, you know, so yeah, I still to this day take jobs that are very low pay or no pay, but because I believe in what they're doing or because I want to be a part of that conversation. So you can't be afraid to stick your neck out.
Right. And speaking of which, did I see that you're recently in a McDonald's commercial?
Oh, you know, something like that. I was partnered with Reverie TV, and it was the opening number for their incredible talent show, which had singers and comedians and all, you know, people of different walks of life in the LGBTQAI plus community. And the opening number was directed, choreographed, styled, singing in, starring in, all by me. So it was pretty amazing. It was up on a billboard in Times Square, so I got to go to New York and pose in front of the 3 seconds it flashed and get the picture. And I'm just really, you know, grateful that McDonald's has sponsored a queer company for the first time ever. And I'm not for sure that they knew I was the weed queen, but at the end of the day, the weed queen was in a McDonald's campaign, and that is amazing.
That is amazing. And so are you. We're so thankful.
Thank you. So are all of you. Happy Pride, you guys.
Yes,
I hope
happy Pride.
To bring smiles to people and some education. And yeah, thanks again for having me. I love it. I love to see what you're doing, and I'm here for it, queer for it, and I applaud you.
Thank you. We'll see you online and hopefully get to meet in person someday.
Yes, right? I think that's coming very soon.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Have a great afternoon. Thank you again for being with us. We'll see you soon.
Thank you guys.
Bye. Bye.